So, as I was saying before the intermission, we're moving towards a free period. All right? In the late 1950s, jazz as a whole, as a musical genre, started pushing the limits of what they could do, really. John Coltrane started pushing the limits of harmonic ideas. He started putting on upper extensions, all of these ideas. Ornette Coleman was starting his free jazz ideas, and Sonny was right at the heart of this. With his ideas of motivic development and melodic development, he was considered one of the hip jazz players of the time. As Sonny moved forward, he started to not only experiment with his music, but also with his ensembles. You'll notice in the past two pieces we've played, there's a piano player. From this point on, Sonny goes without a piano player. The piano adds harmony to a jazz ensemble, and Sonny was getting away from harmony. He was focusing more on melodic ideas. The Freedom Suite is one of those examples of a pianoless trio. Freedom Suite really moves toward this free idea that I've been talking about, both socially and musically. At this point in time, 1959, the civil rights movement was in full effect. Sonny was always very vocally politically, and he really wanted to express himself in the only way he knew possible, which was jazz. This album in particular stands out because of its increased motion towards melodic development and melodic freeness. The entire album is built around a two-bar theme, which is shown here. This theme is present in every single movement of the piece. Here's how it sounds. Again, a very simple idea, but each of the three movements of Freedom Suite incorporates this idea at some point. For example, in the second movement, this idea is only played at the ending. There's no resolution in that movement. It's pushing on towards the third movement. In the first movement, it's the main theme. It is the melody. Sonny takes his solos in this album and really approaches them with a free idea. The bass is laying down a sort of broken harmony, but Sonny is playing something a little bit different. He's improvising entirely melodically. The first movement will end with one of three cadential ideas. One of these three ideas. I will be, when I'm playing Freedom Suite, which I will for you in a second, I will be playing one of these three ideas at the end of each solo that I play in the first movement. See if you can listen for these ideas. So, with all of these musical ideas in mind, please enjoy my rendition of Freedom Suite. Like I said, listen for these motifs that I pointed out, as well as the free sound of my improvisation in regards to the harmonic structure and melodic content, and compare the sound to the previous solos I have played. I will leave these three cadential ideas on the screen for the first movement. One, two, one, two, 1, 2, 3. his life, 1959 or thereabouts, Sonny was at, we'll say, a peak of his fame, an all-time high. But even at this point in time, Sonny felt incredibly self-critical of himself. So he decided that what he needed was some practice time, really. He decided to take a break. So he moved to a small apartment on the Lower East Side of Manhattan and lived there for 3 years, with his wife being the sole supporter of the household. He didn't play any gigs, he didn't take any jobs, all he did was practice. But he had a problem. He didn't have a practice space. So what he did was start looking around the city. And one day he was walking along on the Williamsburg Bridge, which is one of the massive bridges leading out of the island of Manhattan. And he happened to look up a flight of stairs and see a platform. Now, when he walked up to this platform, he found that he couldn't be seen by the cars passing, the subway, or most of the people walking by down below. This became his practice space, The Bridge, the title of this album. Sonny, when he was on the bridge, he didn't practice anything crazy. He didn't practice, ridiculous jazz tunes or things like this. What he practiced were the fundamentals, his scales, making chord changes, jazz standards, things of this nature. And when he returned to the scene in 1962, he had a strength and intensity that we never really saw in him before. With the album The Bridge, the first album that he put out, this confidence really pushed him to new heights and towards a more free atmosphere. Sonny decides against the pianoless trio that we've seen in previous albums and decides to find a new ensemble. The piano was still too harmonically constricting for him, so he decides to find something more expressive. And he finds Jim Hall, a jazz guitar player. He invites Jim Hall to play on his record, and he does. The guitar provides an open sound that is harmonically free, but at the same time does provide that harmonic background. At this point in his career, Sonny Rollins has evolved into a jazz legend, coming far from his roots playing in the Sugar Hill Gang in Harlem as a teenager. His sound now encapsulates the freedom that he has been seeking in melody, harmony, and rhythm. Due to his diligence and devotion, he raised the standard by which all jazz musicians measure themselves. Our final tune, Without a Song, is one that really captures the idea of Sonny Rollins as an overall player. It is a jazz standard from the Great American Songbook that is given new life by the free melodic ideas of Sonny's playing. It is the quintessential sound of Sonny Rollins. Thank you all for attending my lecture recital. Please enjoy the reception that is followed by my family, and please enjoy Without a Song.